Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our public comment portion of this evening. This is our first council meeting of the month, and we hear our residents' concerns issue at our public comment. We go from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. You are allowed 3 minutes. Our timekeeper will be Councilman. Councilman, are you going to be our timekeeper? Okay. Councilman Gale will be her timekeeper this evening with us. Please remember that at the public comment, you will, let me read the little housekeeping information I've got to tell everyone. You know, you basically have 3 minutes. You should not address individual council person. Basically, you should also have no slanderous and impertinent or personal information, while you're giving your comment. With us this evening, in person, we have Councilman Amilcar Hernandez, Majority Leader Marilyn Rossetti. I keep calling him, messing with all the R's. We have our Corporation Council with us. We have our Town Clerk. We have Councilman John Gale and Councilman Joss Mitchum. And on the screen, we have Sister Majority Leader T.J. Clark and Councilman Alex Thomas, right? Anybody else? I don't think so. Great. So this is what we have for Committee of a Whole this evening. The first person, when you do come up to speak, remember that you need to give us your name, your address. You have 3 minutes to address the council members. First one to speak is Orlando Mercado.
Hello, my name is Orlando Mercado. I live at 22 Kelsey Street in Hartford, Connecticut. So good evening, Council President, Majority Leader, and members of the Hartford City Council. I'm Orlando Mercado, President of ASME Local 1716, representing 300 dedicated public service workers here in the city of Hartford. Our members do the essential work that enables our city to properly function. We take care of our kids, clean your roads, remove your trash. We inspect houses for safety issues and connect clients at our local libraries with critical resources. When you call 911 for an emergency, we are the guiding light on the line, carefully walking you through each step. We are on the front lines every day, ensuring Hartford is a place families can live and thrive. Years ago, when the city was on the verge of bankruptcy, pardon me, the budget was balanced on the backs of our members who sacrificed with pay cuts and taking zeros. Most recently, rising inflation has made it harder for our families to get by, and surrounding towns are competing for our laborers with offering higher salaries. All these factors restrain our abilities to continue serving Hartford residents with the utmost professionalism and excellence they deserve. As you review the budget, I ask you not to reduce the budgeted overtime. An average 1716 member makes roughly $2,400 a month without overtime. After mortgage, utility, phone, Wi-Fi, health, and car insurance expenses, we are left with $58. $58 is not nearly enough to cover food, hygiene products, clothing for our kids who grow by the week. I haven't included the extremely high cost of childcare into this equation. If there is one thing I want you to take away from tonight is this: one overtime shift makes a huge difference in our ability to support our families and help us stretch our paychecks a little further to cover the basic living necessities we rely on. Cutting the overtime budget will mean reduction in the services we perform and a reduction in our overall earning. Saving money this way means cutting corners for everyone, Hartford residents, and their committed workforce who has stuck by them. Local 1716 members serve the entire city from the southwest corners, Prospect Ave, to Keeney Park, and all the way to the Connecticut River. We work for our city to give back to our community and to provide a stable life for our family. Please allow us to be able to continue providing for our cities and our families. Keep the overtime budget intact. And on the average, I did say $2,400, but some of my members take home only $400 a month. And those are the ones cleaning up the streets, servicing the children at the WIC department. And just imagine the same budget with only $2,000. Thank you.
Oh, let me speak. Dolores Smith. Oh, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the committee. My name is Dolores Smith. I live at 51 Westland Street, Hartford, Connecticut. Today, I represent the Hartford seniors, and we are here to talk about a request for changing a bus route and save you money. Now, just to make it clear, we ride the Ambassador bus every Friday to 3 different stores each week. Our choices are Stop and Shop, Walmart, and Price Right. I will be talking about Price Right on New Britain Avenue. As all stores, they provide good food and necessary items for our home. Our request is to change this area to another Price Right, but in Windsor, Connecticut. Now, both stores basically have the same items to buy, and it's the area that's in question. Now, Price Right in New Britain Avenue has nothing for options. If we finish shopping early, they have no seated areas, no stores choosing other things to do. Now, we as seniors should have an option to shop in another store if Price Right just isn't the choice of that day. And this is why I'm requesting for your consideration to change the area. We also pay for this bus ride, so options we should be a part of. We have an hour and a half to shop. It should be our choice of where to go within that time. If we are done early, we stand and wait for bus to drive over to pick us up and our groceries up. Now, here's a hint of what happens. The bus is inside of the store, but they choose to sit and wait till they pick up all together instead of driving over and picking up those that stand outside just waiting time-wise. This could cut down on time for your drivers. No, they wait until all are ready, and yes, that does take up time, but not our time, yours. Now, as Hartford residents, all know that Price Right in Windsor has a lot to offer. If we choose to shop in other stores, we can. Many things to do in the area. And both buses with seniors on it do agree to the change. I have signatures of all that ride the bus. Now, time-wise, it's less distance for your drivers. For example, ride from New Britain Avenue to Price Right is 4.8 miles, and the ride from Price Right in Windsor is 2.4 miles, which shows less time from this area. Now, I do realize this has to be discussed. We all hope as seniors that this move is considered when the time comes. Just because we are seniors, we should still have a voice in what goes on, with what goes on considering us. One day you'll be a senior and will want your voice heard as we want ours heard today. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. If you don't mind, just one question.
Okay.
I know I'm not supposed to, but did you put the request in, and who did the request go to?
Well, that's the thing. That's why I came to the committee, because I really didn't know, but I have spoken to the project manager of Dial-A-Ride, and I basically said the same thing to him about changing the bus.
Okay,
And
so
he
you
did have
spoke
a
to the
rebuttal.
project manager, you spoke to your project manager
Of Dial-A-Ride.
of Dial-A-Ride?
Yes.
Okay, where does the bus normally leave?
It leaves from, now, I'm not sure where their office is, but they do have a time scale of picking up the 6 people that are on my bus. There is a lady that lives closer to Bloomfield. They pick her up first. Then they come in the general area of Westland Street, 3 minutes difference from each of the other people that ride this bus.
Okay.
That's it.
We just need to find out who to, talk to on the issue. Majority Leader Rossetti.
His name, I believe, is Mr. Lee,
Um,
the project manager.
Okay, we were notified of an email. Majority Leader Rossetti did get an email regarding the concern. Majority Leader?
Yes, and I believe we talked through it with Health and Human Services. I'm not saying I agree with it, but we can follow up with them and now what you've presented to us, and I'll show it to the council president.
Thank you.
Thank you, you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Next up, Leslie Hammond.
Leslie Hammond, 1 Linden Place. And Dolores says she's going to come every month.
Okay.
So, of course, I'm still following Batterson. I'm going to read to you what Representative Ritter said in the paper. Reopening Batterson, which is operated by Hartford but is located in Farmington, has been among Ritter's top priorities. Ritter now says he has done everything that he can in recent years. My message to City Hall is we are done. We have done our job. Get the park open. Ritter told reporters firmly Tuesday, you have all the money and resources you need. Get it open and let kids start enjoying it. Don't call us again, please. So, of course, I sent a few emails after that, and I felt like there was a disconnect, like the state and Ritter have been working on getting money through the Passport Park Pass, and I didn't feel like the city was quite on board, but I finally did talk to Chris. He called me, the head of DPW, so I'm really thrilled that he called me. That was awesome. And he said part of the problem was it did seem at one point the state was going to take it over, and you know, I remember that, so there was maybe a disconnect. And it sounded like, from what Ritter said in his bill, that Riverfront Recapture was going to do it, but Chris said they have to do, you know, they have to put it out to other people too. That's part of the city's, you know, that you have to, can't just pick one contractor. So, you know, I know it's still probably a long road and probably won't get open this summer, but one of the things I feel is missing is a coordination between, I don't know where the mayor stands, but with council and with different interested parties. And I talked to Craig Merkins, who's been following it from the beginning, and he said he'd be interested in being on the Park and Rec Commission as a person representing Batterson, which is a great idea, I think. Not to put Craig out there, but he sounded like he really wanted to do that. So I think it's, you know, I'd love to see a public statement from the mayor. I don't know if he's been paying attention to it or not, but I just think there are a bunch of us, you know, that we have a friends page, and there's been a lot of us that have been following it, and we'd love to see, you know, what the plan is, just an idea of timing and all that. It's, you know, I think we've gotten, this is incredible that we're going to get this money flow, but there's still a lot of work to do about what that means and how we can get it open. Just one other thing, I know I don't have too much time. I was really upset to read about maybe Paul West was going to get, you know, fired or something from the chief of police. I don't know. I met Paul when I stood up for Kelly Baraga. You might remember the sexual harassment. So that is just unfortunate. We do not need that kind of drama, and we need a better police chief that's more in sync with the residents that live here. That's cute. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Majority Leader Rossetti?
Council President, I just wanted to make a, a statement about Batterson as someone who's been actively involved with it for the last 4 years and is still actively involved with it. Oftentimes, just because things aren't visible doesn't mean things aren't going on. I spoke to Mr. Speaker the other day. There are some things that happened that we would have liked to not have happened, that we thought were going to happen, but the city is still actively involved. There's a timeline that does move somewhat. The money is there. The plans are there. Director Hayes is correct. It would have to go out to bid, but there are people who absolutely know, and Leslie, you know, not to make it personal, you and I have talked about this. It's happening. It's going, but it's a huge project, millions of dollars, and it's not the easiest thing to do. But as long as I'm here and my colleagues, we're committed to see this happen. So.
Okay. Thank you. Next up, Michael Downs.
Let's see, the acoustics in this room are a little difficult tonight. My name is Michael Downs. I live at 74 Rosemont Street in Hartford. I'm also president of the Hartford Federation of Substitute Teachers. I'm also a member of ASME Local 1716. The first thing I want to discuss, the main thing I want to discuss is the new members that are being appointed to the Board of Education. Because it looks like they're going to replace all 5 members. And they're probably going to have to, someone's going to have to replace an elected member, because I think an elected member has dropped off the Board of Education. It's very difficult. It takes about 6 months to 12 months to get a new board member up to speed with how things work with the Department of Education, the Board of Education, and the central office with the appointed central office appointed by the Board of Education. And with all the new contracts and discussions and committees that have to, and committee meetings that have to be attended and have to be understood. And I think the mayor should be at least advised that maybe it wouldn't be wise to appoint all 5 members, maybe 3 or 4 members, keep 1 on or 2 on. Because the 3 members that are remaining, the elected members, are very good members and very conscientious. But there's a lot of pressure and a lot of stress on them to work with 5 or 6 new members that don't quite understand how the board works and how the different contracts that come up, understand how to understand the new contracts and how they're formed and how they're voted on, and that's going to be difficult. But then again, I don't know how the appointment works. If their terms have run out, then that's another problem. I'm also a member of the ASME 1716, and I agree with the president that there is a need for new workers. I work for recreation, and of course our salaries are very low, and there's a great need of new recreation workers. This summer I'll be working as a recreation assistant somewhere in one of the parks, possibly Keeney Park, but it doesn't matter, I guess, as long as they have a job somewhere. But I will be celebrating my 82nd birthday out there. So there's a need for new workers, and I guess that's the end of it. I just want to say at the end that I want to support the senior citizens and their transportation problem. I hope we can come up with a solution for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Downs. And God bless you for still giving back your service to the city of Hartford. Thank you so very much for doing so. Seeing we have no other person to speak at the public comment, I am going to close the public comment and remind everyone that we get back for a regular scheduled council meeting at 7 p.m. Thank you guys all for coming.